I never imagined I would return to that place. The orphanage's rusty gate screeched as I pushed it open with my hand, a sharp, metallic sound that sliced through the quiet afternoon like a blade. The cold October wind hit my face, carrying with it the scent of damp leaves and wet earth. It had been 3 years since I was last here. 3 years since Emily died. My name is William Turner. I'm 55 years old with gray hair that constantly reminds me time spares no one, and a bank account big enough to buy almost anything, except what I truly needed. Because money can't bring back the people we love. And Emily was everything. She used to come here every week, every Thursday without fail. I would be in my office, closing deals, signing contracts, building an empire that in the end felt empty without her by my side. Emily would come to St. Catherine's orphanage to read stories to the children, bring them sweets, organize birthday parties. She always said those kids needed to know someone cared, that someone remembered them. I never fully understood. Until now. The cobblestone path to the entrance was covered in moss. My expensive Italian shoes, far too fancy for a place like this, made a dull sound with each step. The building was old, Victorian, with reddish bricks worn down by time and tall windows that looked like watchful eyes following my every move. Ivy climbed up the side walls, and somewhere in the distance, I could hear the muffled laughter of children playing. Why was I here? The answer came 3 days ago, in the form of a letter. A handwritten letter, the shaky handwriting addressed to me. There was no return address. It simply said, "Mr. Turner, please come to the orphanage. There's something you need to know about Emily. Something she never had time to tell you." My heart raced as I read it. Emily and I shared everything. Or at least I thought we did. What kind of secret could there be? And why wait 3 years to tell me? I pushed open the heavy wooden door. It groaned on its old hinges, and the smell hit me immediately. Aged wood, candle wax, and something sweet. Maybe cookies baking in the kitchen. The foyer was wide, with a dusty crystal chandelier hanging from the high ceiling and portraits of old nuns decorating the walls. My footsteps echoed on the marble floor. "May I help you?" I turned sharply. A woman in her 60s, wearing a gray and white habit, stood watching me with kind yet piercing eyes. Her face was lined with the stories of decades spent in this place. "My name is William Turner," I said, my voice raspier than I intended. "I received a letter asking me to come here." Her eyes widened slightly as if recognizing the name. "Mr. Turner," she said in a soft voice that seemed to calm the air around us. "We've been expecting you. My name is Sister Mary. I've been the director of this orphanage for 22 years. She paused, and something in her expression grew heavier. "I knew your wife very well. Emily was special." Hearing her name spoken aloud tightened my chest. "Did you send the letter?" I asked. Sister Mary shook her head. "No, Mr. Turner." She glanced over her shoulder as if checking if anyone was listening. It was one of the children, a girl named Lily. "Lily?" I repeated. The name meant nothing to me. "She's 10, Sister Mary said, folding her hands nervously in front of her. Emily spent a lot of time with her. Lily, she was different from the other children, quieter, more observant. And ever since Emily passed away, Lily changed. She stopped talking to almost everyone. But 3 weeks ago, she came to me and said she needed to find you, that she had something important to tell you." A chill ran down my spine. "What exactly does she want to tell me?" "She didn't say," Sister Mary sighed. "She told me she could only speak to you. In person." I looked around the empty foyer. Outside, the sound of laughing children floated faintly through the air, comforting in its distance. Inside, however, something heavy lingered, something unspoken. "Where is she?" "In the back garden," Sister Mary said, gesturing toward a hallway to the left. "She's been waiting for you every day since she sent the letter. Every day." I swallowed hard and followed Sister Mary down the corridor. The walls were lined with children's drawings, colorful houses, smiling suns, stick-figure families holding hands. Each drawing had a name scrawled in uneven letters at the corner. Emma, 6, Thomas, 8. Lily, 10. I stopped in front of one of Lily's drawings. It was different. No sun, no bright colors. Just a single small figure, a little girl, standing before a large closed gate. On the other side of the gate, two figures, a woman with long hair and a man in a suit. "This drawing," I murmured. Sister Mary stopped to look. She made that 2 years ago, right after Emily. Her voice faltered. I always found it strange, but Lily never wanted to talk about it. We kept walking until the hallway opened onto a glass door leading to a wide garden. Large trees cast long shadows over the trimmed grass. There were rusty swings, an old slide, and a wooden bench beneath a massive oak. And there, sitting on the bench, was Lily. She was small for 10, with brown hair tied in a loose ponytail. She wore a faded blue dress and worn sneakers. Her hands held something in her lap, a brown envelope. When she saw me, she didn't move. She just stared at me with deep dark eyes that seemed to carry far more weight than any child should. "Lily," Sister Mary said softly, "this is Mr. Turner." The girl stood slowly. Her fingers clenched the envelope tightly. "I knew you'd come," she said. Her voice was thin but firm. "Emily told me you would." My heart skipped. "Emily told you?" Lily nodded. "She made me promise something before she left." My knees weakened. Sister Mary gently touched my arm, offering silent support. "What did she ask, Lily?" I managed to say. The girl extended the envelope toward me. Her hands trembled slightly. "She said that when the time was right, I should give this to you, and that you'd understand everything." I took the envelope with trembling hands. It was sealed, and across the top, in Emily's unmistakable handwriting, was my name. William. My vision blurred for a moment. "And how do you know this is the right time?" I asked, swallowing back tears. Lily looked straight into my eyes. "Because tomorrow is my birthday, and Emily said that on my 11th birthday everything would change." The wind picked up, making the oak leaves whisper like ancient secrets. And in that moment I knew. Something bigger than I could imagine was about to be revealed. My fingers shook as I held the envelope. Emily's handwriting was there, as real as the little notes she used to leave on the fridge. "Came home late, dinner's in the oven." Or, "Meeting at the orphanage today. Love you." Simple words I treasured, because I never imagined they'd be all I had left. But this envelope, this was different. "May I?" My voice broke. I took a deep breath. "May I open it now?" Lily slowly shook her head, her dark eyes fixed on me. "Emily said you should open it alone. Somewhere you can think clearly." Sister Mary touched my shoulder gently. "There's a sitting room upstairs, Mr. Turner. It's quiet. No one will disturb you there." I nodded, unable to form words. But before I could turn away, Lily stepped forward. There was something in her posture, a restrained urgency, like she was fighting the urge to say more. "Mr. Turner?" she whispered. "Yes?" "Emily. She talked about you a lot." Lily nervously twisted her fingers. "She said you were the bravest man she'd ever known, that you built everything from nothing, that you never gave up on anything." A lump formed in my throat. "She exaggerated," I managed, forcing a half smile. "No." Her conviction surprised me. "She didn't exaggerate, and she said that when you found out the truth..." The girl hesitated, biting her lower lip. "You'd do the right thing, even if it was hard." Before I could respond, Lily turned and ran back inside, her ponytail bouncing behind her. Sister Mary sighed. "She's a special child," the nun said, watching Lily disappear through the glass door. "Very mature for her age. Very aware." "How did she end up here?" I asked. Sister Mary gestured for me to follow her back inside. "She was left on the orphanage doorstep when she was just 3 days old," she said softly. "A cold November night. There was only a blanket and a note saying her mother couldn't raise her, but loved her very much. We walked through the hallway again. The smell of candle wax was stronger now, mixed with the aroma of something cooking. Probably the children's dinner. And no one ever came looking for her. Family? I pressed. No one, Mr. Turner. Sister Mary stopped at a wooden staircase leading to the second floor. Lily is, well, she's ours, the orphanage's, and Emily bonded with her in a way I'd never seen before. From the very first day your wife came here 6 years ago, she and Lily formed a deep connection. Emily spent hours reading to her, playing, talking. 6 years. Emily had been coming here for 6 years, and I barely paid attention. How many times had she tried to tell me about the children while I was too busy with spreadsheets and meetings? The room is at the end of the hallway on the right, Sister Mary said. Take all the time you need. I climbed the steps slowly. Each creaked under my weight, as if the building itself was weary. The walls upstairs were lined with old photographs, smiling nuns with children, Christmas events, graduations. Then I saw a picture that made me stop. Emily, surrounded by children, all smiling at the camera. Her blonde hair glowed in the sunlight, and her smile, God, how I missed that smile. And there, beside her, holding hands, was Lily. The girl looked up at Emily with pure adoration. I tore my gaze away and kept walking. The sitting room was small but cozy. A large window overlooked the back garden, where the trees swayed gently in the wind. There was an old cracked leather sofa, a small coffee table with a worn Bible, and a lampshade casting a soft yellow glow. I sat down. The leather creaked. I placed the envelope on my lap and just stared at it. William. How long had Emily kept this? Why hadn't she told me in person? With trembling hands, I carefully tore the envelope open. Inside were 3 folded pages and a photograph. I picked up the photograph first, and my world stopped. It was Emily, but not a picture I'd ever seen. She was in a hospital bed, holding a baby, a newborn wrapped in a light blue blanket, and the look on Emily's face wasn't happiness, it was pain. Farewell. I turned the photo over. On the back, in Emily's handwriting, it read, Lily Marie Turner, 3 days old, November 2014. May God forgive me. My breath caught. Turner. Lily Marie Turner. The pages slipped from my fingers and fell to the floor. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it in my ears. I picked up the first page with shaking hands. My love, if you're reading this, it means I'm no longer there. And it means Lily is almost 11 now. God, how time must have flown. William, I need you to forgive me for what I'm about to tell you. I carried this secret for so long, and with each passing day, it became harder to find the right words. But now there's no time left to wait for the perfect moment. Lily is our daughter. No. My vision blurred. I read the sentence again. Lily is our daughter. Impossible. Emily and I had tried to have children for years. Years of treatments, broken hopes, empty rooms that should have been filled with laughter. Doctors had said it was unlikely, almost impossible. Eventually, we accepted it wasn't meant to be. But this made no sense. I kept reading, my mind struggling to process each word. Do you remember 2014? You were expanding the business to the West Coast. You were away for weeks, traveling, signing deals, and I was alone. I'm not blaming you, William, I never did. But the loneliness was suffocating. And then I found out I was pregnant. I couldn't believe it. After everything we'd been through, all the doctors saying it was impossible. It was a miracle. Our miracle. But you were so distant, so focused on work. And I was scared, William. Scared to tell you and see disappointment if something went wrong again. Scared to build hope that might be crushed. So I waited. I waited for the right moment. But the right moment never came. I stood abruptly, knocking over the coffee table. The Bible thudded to the floor. I walked to the window, breathing hard, trying to understand. Emily had been pregnant, and she didn't tell me. Why? Why keep something like this from me? I forced myself back to the sofa and grabbed the second page. When I reached my 8th month, you finally came home, remember? It was November. You said you'd close the biggest deal of your life, that now we'd be secure forever. I was going to tell you. I swear I was. But that night something went wrong. I started bleeding. The pain was unbearable. I rushed to the hospital alone because you had another last-minute meeting. And there, the doctor said the baby was in distress. They had to do an emergency C-section. Lily was born premature, small, fragile, and the doctors told me she'd need intensive care. Weeks, maybe months in the hospital. William. I looked at that tiny baby so helpless and I completely panicked. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I didn't try to stop them. I wasn't well, my love. Postpartum depression, the doctors said later. But in that moment, all I could think was, I'm going to fail. I'll be a terrible mother. I can't do this alone. And then I made the most cowardly decision of my life. 3 days after she was born, when I was discharged, I wrapped Lily in a blanket, wrote a note, and left her on the doorstep of St. Catherine's orphanage. I abandoned her, William. I abandoned our daughter. My hand flew to my mouth, stifling a sob. No, Emily wouldn't do that. My Emily, who loved children more than anything, who spent hours reading to them, hugging them, making each one feel special. But the handwriting was hers. The words were hers. And suddenly, everything made sense. The weekly visits to the orphanage, her bond with Lily, the guilt I sometimes saw in her eyes when she thought I wasn't looking. She had been trying to make it right. I grabbed the third and final page. I spent 6 months in therapy, fighting depression, fighting the guilt that consumed me. And when I finally got better, when I could finally think clearly, I went back to the orphanage. And there she was, our Lily, 6 months old, smiling at one of the nuns. I wanted to take her back that instant, to tell you everything, to bring our daughter home. But then Sister Mary told me Lily had a chance to be adopted by a wonderful family, a family who could give her everything she deserved. And I thought, who am I to take that from her? After what I did? So I decided to do things differently, to be present in her life, even from afar, to be someone she could count on if she ever needed, to love her the only way I still could. But the adoption never happened, William. The family backed out, and Lily stayed, year after year, waiting for a family that never came. I couldn't keep reading. I folded into myself, sobs finally breaking through the walls I'd built. Emily, my Emily, carrying this alone for all those years. And Lily, our daughter, waiting downstairs, never knowing who I really was. I don't know how long I stayed there, sitting on that old couch holding Emily's letter in my hands as tears soaked the paper. The silence in the room was heavy, broken only by the distant sound of children playing outside and the occasional creak of the building's old wooden beams. The golden sunset light streamed through the window, bathing everything in orange hues, casting long shadows that stretched like fingers into every corner of the room. I took a deep breath, once, twice, 3 times, trying to regain some control. Lily was my daughter. My daughter. The little girl downstairs with her serious dark eyes and her tiny hands trembling as she handed me the envelope. She carried my blood. Emily's blood. I wiped my face with the back of my hand and forced myself to pick up the 3rd page again. There was more. I needed to read it to the end. William, I know what you must be feeling right now. Anger, betrayal, confusion, and you have every right to feel all of it. But I need you to know, I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. Every time I saw her at the orphanage, my heart shattered and rebuilt itself at the same time. She grew up so beautiful, so smart, so strong. She has your eyes, you know, that deep brown shade that turns golden under sunlight. And she has your stubbornness too. Once she decides something, no one can change her mind. I wanted to tell you 1,000 times. I planned perfect moments, romantic dinners, walks in the park, but every time I opened my mouth, fear paralyzed me. Fear of losing you. Fear that you'd hate me. Fear of destroying everything we built together. And then I found out I was sick. I stopped breathing. The illness, the cancer that took Emily in just 6 months. 6 months from diagnosis to the day I held her for the last time, her cold hands in mine, her blue eyes losing their light. The doctors gave me a year, at most. In the end, it was only 6 months. And in that moment, William, all the excuses I had created disappeared. There was no more right time. There was no more time at all. I called Lily in for a talk 2 weeks before I left. She was 7. I told her everything. Who she really was, who I was, who you were. And do you know what she did? She hugged me and said, "It's okay, Emily. I forgive you." 7 years old, William. And she had more wisdom than I ever did. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold the paper. Emily had told Lily. Lily knew. For 3 years she knew I was her father, and she stayed there, waiting, saying nothing. I made Lily promise me she'd wait until she was ready, that she wouldn't look for you until she was sure she truly wanted to meet you. And when that time came, she'd give you this letter. I told her you were a good man, the best man I'd ever known, but that you were lost in pain and work and trying to forget that I was gone. I told her you needed time to heal, and that when you were ready, you would come. William, my love, my partner, my best friend, Lily is our second chance. The chance we never had. The family we always wanted. But she needs you now. Not the man who builds empires and closes deals. She needs the William who made me laugh until my stomach hurt. The William who danced with me in the kitchen without music. The William who dreamed of being a father one day. I know I'm asking a lot. I know this will turn your life upside down. But I also know you have enough love inside you. Love that's been stored away all these years, waiting for someone to receive it. Lily is that person, William. Our little girl is waiting to go home. Please don't make her wait any longer. With all my love, always and forever, Emily. P.S. There are documents in the drawer of my desk. Her original birth certificate, DNA tests I did in secret, custody papers, everything you'll need. Forgive me for planning even this, but I needed to make sure you'd have everything if you decided to bring her home. I carefully folded the pages and placed them back into the envelope. My hands no longer trembled. My mind was strangely clear, as if a fog I didn't even know existed had finally lifted. I stood and walked to the window. Down in the garden, Lily was sitting on the same bench beneath the oak tree, but now she wasn't alone. Other children ran around playing tag, laughing and shouting. But Lily just sat, hands folded in her lap, waiting. Always waiting. A gentle knock on the door made me turn. "Mr. Turner?" It was Sister Mary. Her voice was gentle, cautious. "I'm sorry to disturb you, but Lily is asking if you're still here." I swallowed hard. She knew, didn't she? My voice came out harsher than I intended. "You knew who Lily really was." Sister Mary stepped into the room slowly, closing the door behind her. Her eyes were misty. "Emily told me," she admitted. 2 days before she passed. She asked me to look after Lily, to make sure the girl would be okay until you were ready. And you agreed to keep it a secret? It wasn't easy, Mr. Turner. Sister Mary clasped her hands in front of her. But Emily made me see that it wasn't about secrets. It was about protection. Protection for the child. And for you. She said if she told you too soon, you'd come out of obligation. Out of guilt. And Lily didn't deserve a father who was there out of obligation. I closed my eyes. Emily knew me so well. She was right. If I'd known 3 years ago in the depths of my grief, I would have come. But not in the right way. Not the way Lily deserved. "Do you think I'm ready now?" I asked, opening my eyes to meet the nuns. Sister Mary studied me for a long moment. "I think only you can answer that, Mr. Turner. But I can tell you this. Lily waited 3 years for you. She could have looked for you at any time. Your name is in every business magazine. Your address wouldn't be hard to find. But she didn't. Why? Because she wanted to be sure that when she met you, it would be real, not forced, not out of pity. Sister Mary stepped toward the window, looking down at the garden. That girl out there is one of the bravest children I've ever met. She lost her mother before she even knew who she was. She grew up without a family. She watched dozens of children get adopted while she stayed behind. And still, she chose to wait for you. I looked at Lily again. She had lifted her head and was staring straight at the window where I stood. She couldn't see me. The sunlight reflected off the glass, but it was as if she somehow knew I was there. "What happens now?" I whispered. "Now you walk down those stairs," Sister Mary said, "and talk to your daughter. My daughter." The words felt strange, scary, but also right. I slipped the envelope into my suit jacket, close to my heart. I took another deep breath. And what if I don't know what to say? Sister Mary smiled, a sad but hopeful smile. Then start with the truth. It's always a good place to start. I walked down the stairs slowly. Each step felt like an eternity. My heart pounded unevenly. My palms were sweaty. When was the last time I felt like this? Nervous like a teenager? I crossed the hallway, passed through the glass door and stepped into the garden. The cool afternoon air hit me, carrying the scent of wet grass and autumn leaves. The children had gone, probably called in for dinner. The garden was quiet except for the rustling of leaves. Lily was still on the bench. She didn't turn when I approached, but I knew she heard me. My footsteps on the grass were loud in the silence. I stopped a few feet away, unsure whether to sit or stand. "May I sit?" I finally asked. She nodded, still not looking at me. I sat down on the bench, leaving a respectful space between us. The wood felt cold and rough under my hands. We sat in silence for what felt like forever. "I read the letter," I finally said. "I know," Lily answered softly. You knew all along? For 3 years?" "Yes." I looked at her, really looked, and now that I knew the truth, it was impossible not to see it. The eyes, the shape of her face, her jawline. She was a perfect blend of Emily and me. Our daughter. "Why did you wait so long?" I asked. "Why didn't you come find me?" Lily finally turned her head to look at me. Her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "Because Emily told me you were hurting, that you were lost, and I didn't want to be another burden. I didn't want you to accept me just because you felt you had to." It felt like a punch to the gut. "Lily, you would never be a burden, but I was, wasn't I?" Her voice trembled. "To Emily. That's why she left me here." "Oh God." "No," I said firmly, turning fully to her. "No, Lily. Emily was sick. She wasn't thinking clearly. But she loved you. Every second of every day, and everything she did afterward was to try to make it right. But she never took me home." Tears started rolling down Lily's cheeks. "She came every week, but at the end of the day, she left and I stayed. Always. And I kept wondering, why am I not good enough?" My heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. Without thinking, I reached out and touched her shoulder. Lily flinched but didn't pull away. "You are more than good enough," I said, my voice breaking. "You are extraordinary, and Emily knew that. I know that now." Lily looked into my eyes, and in that moment I saw everything. The fear, the hope, the pain, and the silent question she didn't dare to ask aloud. "Will you take me home?" And I knew. I knew with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I knew what Emily wanted, what Lily needed, what I needed. "Lily," I said softly, "tomorrow is your birthday, right?" She nodded. 11. "And do you know what I'd like to give you as a present?" She shook her head, waiting. I took a deep breath. "A family, a home, a father." Lily's eyes widened. You mean..." "I mean I want to take you home, Lily. If you want to come." For a moment, she just stared at me as if she couldn't believe what she was hearing. And then, for the first time since I saw her, Lily smiled. A small, hesitant, but real smile. "I want to," she whispered. "I've always wanted to." And in that quiet garden, under a centuries-old oak tree with the sun setting on the horizon, something inside me that had been broken for so long finally began to heal. The news spread through the orphanage like wildfire. When Sister Mary heard about my decision, she cried. Not tears of sadness, but of relief, as if she had carried a heavy weight for years and could finally set it down. She hugged me right there in the garden, her hands trembling against my back, whispering "thank God" over and over again. Lily stayed by my side the entire time, her fingers intertwined with mine. Her hand was so small, so fragile, but her grip was firm, as if she were afraid that if she let go, I would vanish like smoke. I wasn't going anywhere. We spent the rest of the afternoon in Sister Mary's office, a small, cramped room filled with dusty files and a wooden crucifix hanging on the wall. The nun pulled a thick folder from a locked cabinet, documents Emily had left behind, exactly as she'd promised in her letter. Birth certificate. There it was. Lily Marie Turner. Mother, Emily Ann Turner. Father, William James Turner. My name. It had always been there. Emily had included me from the very beginning, even though I hadn't known. DNA test results were sealed in envelopes. Emily had collected samples, a strand of my hair from a brush, Lily's blood from a routine test, and sent them to a private lab. 99.9% compatibility. There was no doubt. And most importantly, preliminary guardianship documents Emily had started to prepare before she died, with the help of a lawyer. She had planned everything, down to the last detail. "It'll take a few weeks to process everything officially," Sister Mary explained, adjusting her reading glasses. "Even with all this documentation, the adoption system has its protocols. Home visits, interviews, background checks." "How long?" I asked, feeling Lily squeeze my hand tighter. "Usually 4 to 6 weeks. But since you're the biological father and we have all this documentation, we might be able to speed it up. I'll call Judge Morrison tomorrow morning. He's a good man. He's expedited adoptions here before." I looked at Lily. She was sitting on the chair next to mine, her legs swinging above the floor. Her eyes were fixed on me, studying every expression, every movement, as if she were memorizing my face. 6 weeks, I murmured. It felt like an eternity. "In the meantime," Sister Mary continued, "you can visit her whenever you want, every day if you prefer. We can have meals together, supervised outings, build the bond." The bond. How do you build a bond with a daughter you've just discovered you have? How do you make up for 11 lost years? "Mr. Turner?" Lily's voice was so soft I almost didn't hear it. Could you come tomorrow for my birthday?" My heart melted. "Wild horses couldn't keep me away," I said, squeezing her hand. "I wouldn't miss it for the world." A shy smile lit up her face, and in that moment I saw Emily. The way the corners of her eyes crinkled when she smiled. The dimple on her left cheek. "What time?" I asked. "We're having a small birthday party at 3 in the afternoon," Sister Mary replied. "Nothing fancy. Cake, a few presents from the other kids, some music. But for Lily, I'm sure your presence will be the best gift." "Then I'll be here at 3. I looked at Lily. "Actually, I'll be here at 2:30. I want to make sure I'm not late." Lily smiled wider now, and for the first time since I met her, I saw a child. Not the serious, burdened girl who handed me the envelope, but an almost 11-year-old excited about her birthday. I left the orphanage when the sky was already painted purple and orange. The air was colder now, and I could see my breath forming small clouds of vapor. Lily walked me to the gate, still holding my hand. "Mr. Turner," she said when we reached the rusty gate. "You can call me William," I replied. Or, well, whatever you feel comfortable with." She bit her lip, thoughtful. "Emily used to say that when I went home I could call you." She hesitated, as if the word was too big for her mouth. "Dad, if I wanted to." I felt tears burn my eyes. I blinked quickly to push them back. "It would be an honor," I said, my voice rough. "But there's no rush whenever you're ready." Lily nodded. Then suddenly she threw herself forward and hugged me. Her thin arms wrapped around my waist, her face pressed against my chest. I froze for half a second, surprised. Then my arms moved on their own, wrapping around her and pulling her closer. She smelled like strawberry shampoo and lavender soap. Her hair tickled my chin, and in that embrace, I felt something I hadn't felt in years: belonging. "See you tomorrow," she whispered. "See you tomorrow, Lily." She let go and ran back inside, turning once to wave before disappearing through the door. I stood there looking at the old building, now glowing with yellow light from the windows where children were probably having dinner, talking, living their lives. And somewhere in there was my daughter. My daughter. I got into the car, a black Mercedes that suddenly felt ridiculously extravagant, and just sat there for a moment, processing everything. Emily had given me the greatest gift she could: a second chance, a family, a purpose. I started the engine and drove home, my mind already planning for the next day. I arrived home around 8 in the evening. The house was big, absurdly big for one person. 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a living room that could fit 3 families. Emily had always wanted to fill it with life, with laughter, with children running through the halls. Now, as I walked through the empty rooms, the echo of my footsteps was deafening. I went straight to Emily's office. She had a small space on the second floor near the library. I rarely went in there after she died. It was too painful. But now I needed to. Her desk was just as she'd left it. Papers organized in perfect stacks, pens aligned, a framed photo of us on our honeymoon in Hawaii. We were so young, so full of hope. I opened the top drawer, just like the letter instructed. There it was, another envelope. This one marked, "For William, Part 2. My heart raced. There was more? I sat in her chair and opened the envelope with trembling hands. "My love, if you're reading this, it means you've met Lily, and I hope with all my heart that you've decided to bring her home. But I know this won't be easy. Being a father never is, especially when you're starting with a child who's already 11 years old, with her own personality, fears, and dreams. So I want to tell you a few things about our daughter, things that will help you get to know her. Lily loves books, especially adventures. She reads above her grade level. She's already into teenage novels. Her favorite is Anne of Green Gables. She relates to Anne because, like her, Lily is an orphan waiting for a family. She's afraid of the dark. She's always slept with a small nightlight. Sister Mary knows this. She's incredibly artistic. She's constantly drawing. She has sketchbooks full of drawings. Some are happy, rainbows and flowers. Others are darker, closed gates and lonely children. Those drawings are how she processes her emotions. She's shy with strangers, but when she trusts someone, she opens her heart completely. And William, she's stubborn, just like you. When she decides something, nothing can change her mind. That can be frustrating, but it's also one of the most beautiful things about her. She knows who she is. One last thing. Lily has a blanket, light blue, worn at the edges. It's the same blanket I wrapped her in when I left her at the orphanage. Sister Mary kept it and gave it back to her when she turned 5. Lily sleeps with it every night. It's the only physical connection she has to me. To us. Be patient with her, William. She spent her entire life waiting to be chosen. Show her that the wait is over, that she finally has a home. With eternal love, Emily. I carefully folded the letter and pressed it against my chest. Emily knew Lily so well. Every detail, every fear, every joy. And now it was my turn to learn. I looked around the office. Tomorrow Lily would turn 11. I needed a gift. Not just any gift. The perfect one. I went to the library and scanned the shelves, searching. There it was. A first edition of Anne of Green Gables with original illustrations. Emily had bought it at an auction years ago. I picked up the book carefully. The yellowed pages smelled of history and adventure. But that wasn't enough. I grabbed my phone and called my assistant, David. "Mr. Turner?" he answered on the second ring, surprised. I rarely called outside business hours. "Is everything okay?" "David, I need you to do something for me first thing tomorrow morning." "Of course, sir. What do you need?" "I want you to find the best art supply store in the city." "No, wait," I corrected myself. "Find the best art supply store in the entire area. Colored pencils, watercolors, canvases, brushes, the best of everything. A complete set." For you, sir?" David sounded confused. I don't blame him. I'd never asked for anything like that before. "For my daughter." Silence on the other end. "Your daughter?" David finally said. "I'm sorry, Mr. Turner. I didn't know you had." "It's a long story. I'll tell you another time. But for now, I need that kit by noon tomorrow. Can you do that?" "Of course, sir. I'll take care of it." "And David?" "Yes?" "Thank you." I hung up and looked out the library window. The full moon lit up the backyard garden where Emily used to plant roses. Tomorrow, everything would change. Tomorrow, I would begin being a father. I couldn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the day. The creaking gate, Emily's letter, Lily's eyes studying me, the hug at the gate. At 3 in the morning, I gave up trying to sleep and went to the kitchen. I made strong coffee and sat at the table where Emily and I used to have breakfast together. "I hope I'm doing the right thing," I whispered to the empty room. "I hope I'm ready." Silence was my only answer. But then a soft breeze came through the slightly open window, carrying the scent of roses from the garden. And I knew. Emily was with me. She always had been. To be continued in part 5. Is what's happening moving you? It's moving me too. Because this story, it's about second chances, about family, about love that transcends even death. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video. And tell me in the comments, do you believe in second chances? I'm starting. The clock struck 2:15 in the afternoon when I parked in front of St. Catherine's Orphanage, 15 minutes early. I had told Lily I'd arrive at 2:30, but the anxiety wouldn't let me wait any longer. The back seat of the car was filled with gifts. The art kit David had put together, which cost more than some cars. The first edition of Anne of Green Gables carefully wrapped in tissue paper, and a giant teddy bear I bought on impulse from a store along the way. Maybe it was too much. Maybe I was trying to make up for 11 years of absence with material things. But I couldn't help it. I wanted Lily to know that I had thought about her, that she mattered. I grabbed the presents and walked up to the gate. This time, the creak of the metal didn't startle me. It felt almost familiar now, like a greeting. Sister Mary was waiting at the door, a warm smile on her face. "Mr. Turner, so punctual," she said, her eyes lighting up when she saw the gifts. "Lily's going to love this. She's been talking about you all day. She could hardly concentrate in class this morning." My heart warmed. "She has classes here?" "We have a small classroom on the 3rd floor. 3 of the sisters are certified teachers," Sister Mary explained, leading me inside. "Lily is one of our best students, especially in literature and the arts." Of course she was. She had Emily's DNA devouring books like they were oxygen, and apparently my stubborn streak that wouldn't give up until something was fully understood. We walked down a different hallway this time, and the sound of children laughing grew louder. Music was playing somewhere, a soft instrumental version of Happy Birthday. "We prepared a party in the recreation room," Sister Mary explained. "Nothing too fancy, but the kids get excited about any celebration. It's a moment of joy in a place where joy can sometimes be scarce." We stopped in front of double wooden doors. On the other side, I could hear voices, footsteps, the rustle of paper. "Ready?" Sister Mary asked. I took a deep breath. "Ready." She opened the doors. The room was large and well lit, with tall windows letting in the golden afternoon sunlight. Colorful balloons in blue, pink, yellow floated near the ceiling, tied with ribbons that swayed gently. A long table was covered with a white cloth, and on it sat a simple but beautiful cake, chocolate layers covered in white frosting, with candles shaped like the numbers 1 and 1 forming 11, and the children. There must have been about 20 of them of various ages. Some ran around the room, others sat in chairs against the wall, and a few helped arrange paper plates and napkins. But my eyes found Lily immediately. She was near the window, wearing a dress I hadn't seen before, light blue with tiny white flowers embroidered on it. Someone had pinned her hair back with clips, letting a few curls frame her face. She looked different, more put together, but her eyes still carried that seriousness, that caution. Until she saw me, then her whole face lit up, a genuine wide, toothy smile, and she ran toward me, literally ran, her shoes thudding against the wooden floor. "You came," she said, stopping just inches away from me, as if suddenly shy. "I promised I would," I said, kneeling to be at her eye level. "Happy birthday, Lily." Her cheeks flushed pink. "Thank you." Behind her, the other kids watched us curiously. Some whispered to each other. I must have looked completely out of place. Expensive suit, Italian shoes, boutique-wrapped gifts. But I didn't care. "These are for you," I said, handing her the presents. Her eyes widened. "All of them?" "All of them." She grabbed the teddy bear first, hugging it tightly against her chest. It was almost as big as she was. "He's huge," she laughed, and the sound was like music. When was the last time I'd heard a child laugh like that? "I thought you might need someone to keep you company," I said. "What should I call him?" I thought for a moment. "How about you decide? It's your birthday after all." Lily studied the bear seriously, as if evaluating its personality. "Theodore," she finally decided. "I'll call him Theodore. Teddy for short." Teddy is the perfect name. She carefully set Teddy on a nearby chair and opened the next gift, the art kit. When she saw what was inside, her mouth formed a perfect O. Is this real?" she asked, touching the professional brushes with reverence. "Completely real. I heard you like to draw." Lily looked at me with those deep eyes, and for a moment I saw tears forming. "Did Emily tell you?" "She told me a lot," I answered softly. "She wanted me to know you, even if she couldn't be here to make the introductions herself." A tear rolled down Lily's cheek. She wiped it quickly with the back of her hand. "I miss her. Every day." "I do too," I admitted, feeling my chest tighten. "Every single day." We stood there for a moment, two strangers bound by the absence of the same person. But maybe we weren't strangers anymore. Maybe we were becoming something else. "There's one more," I said, handing her the last gift. Lily carefully unwrapped it and revealed the book. Her fingers traced the cover gently, as if it were something sacred. "Anne of Green Gables," she read aloud. Is this a first edition?" I was impressed. "How do you know about first editions?" "Emily taught me about old books. She said they were like windows to the past." Lily opened the first page carefully. "This must have cost a lot." "Don't worry about that. I can't accept something so valuable," she protested, but her fingers gripped the book as if nothing could make her let go. "Lily," I said firmly but gently, "you're my daughter. There's nothing too valuable for you." She blinked, processing the words. Then, for the second time in 2 days, she hugged me. This time I was ready. My arms wrapped around her immediately and I kissed the top of her head. "Thank you," she whispered against my chest. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for wanting me." I felt tears burn in my eyes. "Always," I promised. "I'll always want you." The party was chaotic, but in a good way. The children sang happy birthday off-key but with enthusiasm. Lily blew out the candles while everyone shouted for her to make a wish. She squeezed her eyes shut tightly, her hands clasped together like in prayer, and blew. Both candles went out at once. "What did you wish for?" a little curly-haired girl asked. "I can't tell," Lily replied, but her eyes met mine for a second. Or it won't come true. We cut the cake. Sister Mary handed me the knife and positioned me beside Lily. It's tradition, she explained. The birthday child cuts the first piece with someone special. Lily grabbed the knife with me, our hands overlapping, and together we cut the cake. The children cheered, and instant camera flashes captured the moment. Sister Mary documenting it for the orphanage records. We ate cake. Or at least the children did. I only managed a few bites, and my stomach was too tied up with emotion. But I watched Lily interact with the other kids, and I learned. She was kind. When a younger child dropped their cake and started crying, Lily shared hers. When a boy was left out of the games, she took his hand and pulled him in. She was a leader. Natural. Effortless. The other children gravitated toward her, seeking her opinion, waiting for her to solve little conflicts, and she was observant. Whenever she thought no one was looking, her eyes went back to me, checking if I was still there, if I hadn't disappeared like a dream. Each time our eyes met, I smiled, and each time, she smiled back, a little less tense, a little more confident that this was real. After the cake, the children played games, musical chairs, hopscotch drawn on the floor with chalk. I sat next to Sister Mary, watching. She's different today, the nun commented. Different how? Lighter, like a weight's been lifted off her shoulders. Sister Mary adjusted her habit. You know, Mr. Turner, I've worked with children for over 2 decades. I've seen hundreds pass through these doors, and I can tell you, what a child needs most isn't expensive gifts or big parties. It's knowing that someone chose them, that they belong to someone. I swallowed hard. And what if I mess it all up? What if I don't know how to be a father? Sister Mary chuckled softly. No parent knows in the beginning. It's something you learn by doing, by failing, by trying again, she said, placing a wrinkled hand over mine. But I can already see that you love this girl. And love covers a multitude of mistakes. I looked at Lily. She was teaching a younger child how to hop through the chalk squares, laughing when the little girl lost her balance and fell on her bottom. Love. Yes. Somehow, in just 2 days, I loved this girl I barely knew. Because she was mine. Because she was Emily's. Because she had been waiting for me for so long. Sister Mary, I said, how long again until the custody is finalized? 4 to 6 weeks, as I mentioned, but I'll call Judge Morrison tomorrow. Maybe we can speed it up given the circumstances. 4 to 6 weeks. A month and a half. It felt like an eternity. And in the meantime, can I come every day? Every day, Sister Mary confirmed. In fact, it would be good for Lily. It would help with the transition. She can even spend some weekends with you if you'd like. Supervised visits, of course, but it would be a good start. My mind was already racing. Weekends. I could take her home on weekends. She could see the room that would be hers. We could have breakfast together, watch movies, get to know each other. Yes, I said quickly. Yes, that would be great. Sister Mary smiled. Then let's start this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. You can pick her up Saturday morning and bring her back Sunday night. 2 whole days. 48 hours with my daughter. Perfect. The party ended as the sun began to set. The children were called to dinner, and one by one they said goodbye and returned to their routines. Soon, only Lily, Sister Mary, and I remained in the recreation room, surrounded by deflated balloons and paper plates with crumbs of cake. I think it was a good party, Lily said, helping stack the plates. It was the best party, I corrected. Do you think Teddy had fun? Lily laughed. I think so. He ate a lot of imaginary cake. We helped Sister Mary clean up, and then it was time to go. My chest tightened. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave Lily here, but I had to, for now. I walked Lily to her room, a simple second-floor space she shared with 3 other girls. The beds were plain with faded floral quilts, but Lily's bed was easy to spot. There were drawings pinned to the wall beside it, landscapes, portraits, watercolor abstractions. And there, folded carefully at the foot of the bed, was a light blue blanket. The blanket, the same one Emily had wrapped her in 11 years ago. "This is your blanket," I said softly, touching it. Lily nodded. "Sister Mary said my mom left me wrapped in it. It's the only thing I have from her." She hesitated. "From her and you." I knelt beside her bed. "Lily, I want you to know something. I know we're just starting to get to know each other, and I know it will take time to build trust, but I promise you." I looked directly into her eyes. "I'll do everything I can to be the father you deserve." "You don't have to be perfect," Lily said, surprising me with her maturity. "Emily used to say no one's perfect. You just have to try." I smiled, tears blurring my vision again. She was right, as always. Lily pulled something from under her pillow, a small sketchbook. She opened it to a specific page and showed me. It was a drawing of 3 people: a woman with long hair, a tall man in a suit, and a small girl in the middle holding both their hands. Behind them, a large house with glowing windows. "I drew this 2 years ago," Lily explained, her voice trembling slightly. "When Emily told me about you, about us, I drew what I imagined it would be like: a family, a house, a place where I belonged. My heart shattered and rebuilt at the same time. We're going to make that drawing come true, I promised. Every single detail." Lily closed the sketchbook and hugged it to her chest. "Sister Mary said you can pick me up on Saturday to spend the weekend at your house." "Our house," I corrected. "It's going to be our house, Lily. Yours too." She smiled, that shy but hopeful smile I was already beginning to love. "Our house," she repeated, testing the words. "I like how that sounds." Sister Mary appeared at the door. "Mr. Turner, I think it's time." I nodded and stood. Lily stood too, and for the 3rd time that day, we hugged. "See you Saturday," I whispered. "See you Saturday, Dad?" The word came out hesitant, experimental. But it came out. Dad. And in that moment, something inside me that had been empty for so long finally began to fill. Saturday morning arrived and I was a wreck. I woke up at 5 in the morning, unable to keep sleeping. My stomach was in knots. The same feeling I used to get before big business presentations, but multiplied by 1,000. Because this wasn't business. This was my daughter. My daughter spending the weekend with me for the first time. I spent the next 2 hours preparing the house like a madman. The guest room at the end of the hallway would be Lily's room, temporarily until we could decorate it together. I replaced the plain sheets with a new set I bought, light blue with silver stars. I added extra pillows to the bed and checked if the nightlight I'd installed in the outlet worked. Emily had told me Lily was afraid of the dark. I went downstairs to the kitchen. What do 11-year-old kids eat for breakfast? Pancakes, waffles, cereal? I realized with horror that I had no idea. So I bought everything. The pantry now looked like we were preparing for an apocalypse. 5 kinds of cereal, fresh fruit, eggs, bacon, bread, jelly, peanut butter, chocolate powder for milk. David had thought it was hilarious when I asked him to do the shopping. "Planning to feed an army, Mr. Turner?" he had asked. "Just one 11-year-old girl," I replied, which is apparently scarier than any army. By 7 a.m. I had cleaned the entire house, reorganized Lily's room 3 times, and mentally rehearsed dozens of possible conversations. By 8, I showered and got dressed. I put on jeans. When was the last time I wore jeans? And a casual shirt. No suit. Lily didn't need a businessman. She needed a dad. At 9:30, I was in the car, driving toward the orphanage. My hands were sweaty on the wheel, my heart beating unevenly. "Calm down, William, it's just a weekend, you've got this." But when I arrived and saw Lily waiting at the door, with a small pink backpack on her shoulders and Teddy, the giant bear, tucked under her arm, all the nervousness melted into something else. Pure joy. She waved when she saw me, a huge smile lighting up her face. Sister Mary stood beside her, holding a paper bag. "Good morning, Mr. Turner," the nun greeted me as I got out of the car. Punctual as always. "Good morning." I looked at Lily. "Ready for the adventure?" Lily nodded eagerly, her eyes shining. More than ready. Sister Mary handed me the bag. Some extra clothes, a toothbrush and her blanket, she said, lowering her voice so only I could hear. She doesn't sleep without it. Understood. And here, she added, giving me a small card with numbers on it. My personal cell number. If you need anything anytime, call me. No stupid questions, okay? First-time parenting is scary, I know. A wave of gratitude washed over me. Thank you, Sister Mary. For everything. She smiled and knelt in front of Lily. Behave yourself, young lady. And remember, if you need me, just ask Mr. Turner to call. I'll behave, Lily promised. And Sister Mary? Yes, dear. Thank you. For everything. For taking care of me, for waiting patiently until he could come. Sister Mary pulled Lily into a tight hug, and I saw tears in the nun's eyes. It's been an honor, my child. A true honor. The drive back home was quiet at first. Lily sat in the back seat. I had installed a booster seat, following safety regulations, with Teddy beside her staring out the window as the city passed by. I've never been to this part of town, she said suddenly. I looked at her through the rearview mirror. No? She shook her head. Sister Mary takes us on outings sometimes, park, museum, library, but always in the central area. This is different, greener, more spacious. She was right. My neighborhood was suburban with big houses, well-kept gardens, and old trees lining the streets. A stark contrast to the busy area where the orphanage was located. Do you like nature? I asked. Trees and gardens? I think so. Lily tilted her head, thoughtful. I've never had much contact with it, but I draw trees a lot and flowers. Emily used to say I drew nature because my soul longed for freedom. Emily was always poetic like that. Well, we have a huge garden at home. Emily planted roses there, dozens of them, every color you can imagine. Lily's eyes lit up. Can I see them? Of course, we can spend the whole afternoon there if you'd like. And can I draw? Lily, you can do whatever you want. This is your home now. Well, it will be, officially, in a few weeks. She was quiet for a moment. You know what's funny? She finally said. I've spent my whole life imagining what it would be like to have a home, a room of my own, a family, and now that it's happening, I'm scared. My heart tightened. I kept my eyes on the road, but my voice was calm. Scared of what? That it's not real? That I'll wake up and find out it was just a dream? Or, her voice got smaller, or that you'll change your mind, that you'll realize I'm not what you expected and send me back. I abruptly pulled over to the side of the road, shifted to neutral, and turned to face her completely. Lily, look at me. She lifted her eyes, and I saw fear in them. Real fear. This is real. You're real. And I will never ever change my mind about you. Do you understand? Never. But what if I do something wrong? What if I break something or misbehave, or then we'll fix it together, or talk about it like families do. I reached my hand over the seat. She grabbed it immediately. Lily, I spent 11 years not knowing you existed. 11 years I could have been your father, watched you grow, been there for you. I'm not wasting another second. You're stuck with me now, whether you like it or not. A slow smile spread across her face. Stuck with you? That sounds like a threat. I laughed. A genuine laugh I hadn't heard from myself in years. Maybe it is. Get ready for bad dad jokes, overprotection, and probably a lot of burned food while I learn to cook something other than instant noodles. Lily laughed too, and the sound filled the car like music. I can live with that. So are we agreed? Agreed, Dad. The word was still new, still came out carefully. But every time she said it, it felt a little easier, a little more real. When we arrived home, Lily stood on the sidewalk, looking up. The house was big. I was aware of that. 3 stories, colonial style, with white columns out front and a garden Emily had kept immaculate. Now, without her to care for it, it was a little wild, but still beautiful. "All this is yours?" Lily asked, wide-eyed. "Ours," I corrected. "Come on, let me show you." I opened the front door, and Lily stepped inside slowly, her eyes taking in every detail. The high-ceilinged foyer, the curved staircase with the mahogany handrail, the crystal chandelier Emily had personally chosen. "It's like a castle," she whispered. "It's way too big for one person," I admitted. Emily always wanted to fill it with life. I think now it finally will. I showed Lily every room, the formal living room we rarely used, the library where Emily spent hours reading, the spacious kitchen with its marble island and stainless steel appliances. "Do you cook?" Lily asked, eyeing the kitchen like it was an alien lab. "I'm learning," I admitted. "But fair warning, for lunch today, we're ordering pizza." Lily laughed. "I love pizza." "Great, then we'll get along just fine." We went upstairs. I showed her my room, Emily's office. Lily was fascinated by the book collection, and finally stopped in front of what would be her room. "This," I said, opening the door, "is your room." Lily stepped inside slowly, like she was walking on sacred ground. Her eyes swept over the light blue walls, the star-patterned sheets, the desk by the window, and the empty bookshelf waiting to be filled. It's mine," she whispered. "All yours. For now, I kept it simple. But we can decorate together, paint the walls whatever color you like, pick new furniture, posters, whatever you imagine." Lily dropped Teddy onto the bed and ran to the window. It overlooked the backyard. "I can see the roses from here." "You can. And look," I pointed left, "that big tree over there, it's an oak. Emily and I used to have picnics under it in the summer." "It's perfect," Lily said, turning to look at me. Tears streamed down her face, but she was smiling. "Everything is perfect." I crossed the room and knelt in front of her. "You're crying." "Sorry." She wiped her face quickly. "It's just, I've never had a room of my own. I've always shared with other girls. And this is so beautiful, so special." "You deserve special, Lily. You always have." She threw herself into my arms, and I held her as she cried, not tears of sadness but of relief, of joy, of finally finding what she'd been searching for her whole life. A home. The rest of the morning flew by. Lily explored every corner of the house like an adventurer discovering new territory. She found the game room in the basement, which I'd forgotten existed, and was amazed by the dusty ping-pong table. "Can we play?" she asked excitedly. "Of course. But fair warning, I'm terrible." We played 3 matches. Lily crushed me in all of them. She was competitive, focused, and celebrated every point like she'd won an Olympic championship. And I couldn't stop smiling. For lunch, we ordered pizza, half pepperoni for me, half extra cheese for Lily. We sat on the back deck, eating straight from the box, as the October sun warmed our faces. "You know what we don't have to do?" Lily said, mouth full of cheese. "What?" "Rules. Like no one saying sit up straight or chew with your mouth closed or finish everything on your plate." I laughed. "Well, maybe some rules are good. But here, you can relax. Be yourself." "Even if I burp?" I made a face. "Let's set some boundaries." She laughed, and it was the most beautiful sound in the world. After lunch, we went to the garden. Lily brought her new art kit and set up camp under the oak tree, with a blank canvas and her watercolors arranged around her like soldiers. I sat beside her, just watching. She painted with intense concentration, tongue between her teeth, brows furrowed, each brushstroke deliberate. The roses began to take shape on the canvas. Red, yellow, pink, vibrant, and alive. "Did Emily teach you to paint?" I asked. "A little, but mostly I taught myself. By observing, practicing." She dipped the brush in water, cleaning it. "Drawing has always been how I process things. When I was sad, I drew. When I was happy, I drew. It's like my feelings come out through the brush." "And what are you feeling now?" She looked at me, her eyes shining. Hope. The word hung in the air between us, simple but profound. Me too, I admitted. Hope is a good word. We stayed there for hours, Lily painting, me simply enjoying the afternoon, the warmth of the sun, the sound of birds, and her presence beside me. At one point, she stopped and looked around. You know what this place needs? What? A swing. She pointed to a thick branch of the oak tree. Right there, a rope swing, like in the movies. I looked at the branch. It was perfectly placed, strong enough. You know what? That's a great idea. Let's make one. Really? Really. Tomorrow we'll go to the hardware store, buy some rope and a board, and build it together. What do you think? Lily's eyes lit up. I'd love that. Then it's decided. Our first project together. She went back to painting, but now there was a lightness in her movements, a happiness that was contagious. And I realized something at that moment, sitting under that tree, watching my daughter paint. I was healing. Not completely. Maybe I never would. The pain of losing Emily would never fully disappear. But Lily was the balm I didn't know I needed. She was Emily's second chance for me, and I wasn't going to waste it. Sunday began with the smell of burnt pancakes. I woke up early, 6 in the morning, determined to make a special breakfast. After all, it was the last day of the weekend, and I wanted Lily to have good memories. Memories of a dad trying, even if failing miserably. I was in the middle of my third batch of pancakes. The first 2 had turned into black charcoal discs when I heard soft footsteps on the stairs. Good morning, Lily said, appearing at the kitchen door. She was still in her pajamas, a light blue set with clouds that we'd bought yesterday during a quick trip to the store. Her hair was messy on one side, and she was holding her blue blanket like a cape. Good morning. I tried to sound confident, hiding the batter-stained spatula behind my back. Hungry? She walked up to the counter and looked at the pile of scorched pancakes on the plate. You tried to make breakfast? The key word here is tried. Lily picked up one of the burnt pancakes and examined it like an archaeological artifact. How many casualties so far? 2 stacks, I admitted. But these, I pointed to the skillet where golden pancakes were finally cooking, are turning out better. 3rd time's the charm. She smiled. Can I help? You know how to make pancakes? Sister Mary taught us. All the older kids learn basic cooking. Lily washed her hands at the sink and came to stand next to me. Let me see. I handed her the spatula. Lily watched the pancakes in the pan with a critical eye. You're using the heat too high. It should be medium, and you can't flip until you see bubbles on the surface. She adjusted the burner. See? Like this. I watched my 11-year-old daughter take command of the kitchen with the confidence of a chef. She flipped the pancakes at the perfect moment, plated them with precision, and started a new batch. Where was I the last 11 years when I needed to learn this? I joked. Lily laughed. Better late than never. We made breakfast together. Well, she made it. I mostly watched and followed instructions, but it was nice. Working side by side, her teaching me learning, like a real family. We sat at the kitchen table, not the formal dining room, but the cozy little nook by the window where the morning sun poured in like golden beams. Pancakes with maple syrup, fresh fruit, and hot chocolate the way Lily liked it, with extra marshmallows. So, I said, cutting into a pancake, what's the plan for today? Lily took a sip of hot chocolate, leaving a foam mustache on her upper lip. She wiped it with the back of her hand. Can we make the swing? Absolutely. The hardware store opens at 8. We can go right after breakfast. And then, she hesitated, unsure if she should ask. Can we visit Emily? My fork froze in midair. Visit Emily? At the cemetery. Lily's voice was soft, cautious. I used to go with Sister Mary sometimes, but it's been a few months, and I wanted to introduce you to her. Officially. I know it sounds weird, but it's not weird, I interrupted, feeling a lump form in my throat. Not weird at all. I haven't been there in A long time, too. The truth was, I had avoided the cemetery. It hurt too much. Seeing Emily's name carved in stone, knowing she was down there, cold and distant, while I kept walking, breathing, living without her. But maybe it was time. Maybe, with Lily by my side, I could finally do it. Then let's do it, I said. Hardware store, swing, then we'll visit Emily. A full day. Lily smiled. That smile that was becoming easier, more frequent. Thanks, Dad. Every time she said that word, my heart expanded a little more. The hardware store was a maze of aisles filled with tools, wood, and things I never knew existed. Lily was fascinated. She touched everything, asked about everything, read labels out loud like she was in a museum. What's this for? She asked, holding something that looked like a medieval torture device. Honestly, I have no idea. An employee approached, smiling. Can I help you? We need rope, Lily answered before I could. Strong rope for a swing, and a wooden board, smooth but not too heavy. The employee blinked, impressed. Someone knows what she wants. How old are you, young lady? 11, Lily said proudly. Just turned yesterday. Well, happy belated birthday. He looked at me. Your daughter's pretty smart. My daughter. It still caught me off guard to hear other people say it. Yes, I said, placing my hand on Lily's shoulder. Yes, she is. We bought everything. 20 meters of thick nautical rope, a polished oak board, industrial hooks, and even work gloves, a pair for me and a small pair for Lily. On the drive home, Lily couldn't stop talking about the project. We can paint the board, maybe blue or with stars. We can do whatever you want. And we need to test it really well before I use it, to make sure it's safe. Definitely. Maybe even put cushions underneath just in case I fall. I glanced at her. Are you planning to fall? No. But Emily always said, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Emily said that. I had forgotten. It was one of her favorite sayings, especially when we were starting my business and everything felt uncertain. She was right, I said softly. As always. Building the swing took longer than I expected, not because it was hard, but because I wanted it to be perfect, and because Lily insisted on helping with every single step, which meant explaining everything, double-checking, and occasionally redoing something that didn't match her vision. First, we tested the branch. I climbed the tree for the first time in decades, checking every inch for cracks or weak spots. Lily stood below, yelling instructions. More to the left. No, right. There. That spot looks strongest. When we finally agreed on the perfect place, I installed the hooks, threaded the rope through, and tested the weight several times before securing the board. All done, I announced, climbing down. A swing fit for a princess. Lily circled the swing like a critical inspector. She pulled the ropes, tested the knots, pushed the board to see how it moved. Approved, she finally decided. Want to be the first to try? She hesitated. What if it breaks? It won't break, I promise. But if you want, I can test it first. You're bigger. If it holds you, it'll hold anyone. Fair point. I sat carefully on the swing. The rope creaked but held firm. I pushed off with my feet swinging gently at first, then higher, faster. The wind rushed against my face, and for a moment I felt like a kid again. It's safe, I shouted to Lily. My turn. I stopped the swing and let her sit. She gripped the ropes tightly, her knuckles white. Ready? Ready. I gave her a gentle push. The swing moved in a small arc. Lily laughed, a sound of pure joy. Higher. I pushed harder. The swing soared, her braids flying behind her. Higher, higher! Soon she was swinging so high my heart almost stopped at each arc. But she was laughing, shouting with happiness, we're completely free. And I realized this was what Emily wanted. Not a big house or expensive gifts, just this. Lily being a child, Lily being happy, Lily being free. Eventually she slowed down and jumped off, stumbling a bit as she landed. That was amazing. You were amazing. She ran to me and hugged my waist. Thank you, for doing this, for everything. I held her tightly. You don't need to thank me. That's what dads are for. We stayed there for a while, hugging under the oak tree, the swing swaying gently behind us like it was dancing on its own. The afternoon was growing cold by the time we finally got into the car to go to the cemetery. The sky had turned from light blue to gray, thick clouds gathering on the horizon. It felt fitting, as if even the weather knew we were heading to a place of goodbyes. Lily was quiet in the back seat. She had changed clothes, now wearing a simple dark purple dress and a wool coat. Her fingers played with the edges of the blue blanket she'd brought. You okay? I asked, glancing in the rearview mirror. Just nervous, she whispered. Emily's been buried for 3 years, and I don't know if I'll be able not to cry. It's okay to cry, Lily. Emily wouldn't want you to hold back your tears. Are you going to cry? The question caught me off guard. Probably, I admitted. But that's okay. Crying doesn't mean we're weak. It means we loved. She thought about that. Sister Mary says tears are the prayers we don't know how to say. I smiled sadly. Sister Mary is wise. Maple Grove Cemetery sat on the edge of town, surrounded by old trees and rolling hills. It was beautiful in a melancholy way. Black iron gates, stone paths, marble and granite headstones scattered like broken teeth. I parked near the entrance and took a deep breath before turning off the engine. Ready? Lily nodded and stepped out, clutching the blanket to her chest like armor. We walked side by side through the cemetery. I knew the way by heart, even after 3 years. Third hill to the left under a weeping willow. Emily had always loved willows, and there it was. The white marble headstone, simple but elegant. Exactly how Emily would have wanted it. Emily Ann Turner, beloved wife, 1985, 2022. She touched lives and made the world kinder. Lily approached first. She knelt on the grass and placed her hand on the cold stone. Hi, Emily, she whispered. I brought someone to meet you. Well, to meet you again. Officially. My chest tightened. I knelt beside her. Hi, love, I said, my voice cracking. I'm sorry for not coming sooner. I know you understand. It was just too hard. But I'm here now. With our daughter. Lily looked at me, tears already streaming down her face. Can she hear us? I like to think she can. Then, Lily turned back to the stone. I want you to know he came. Just like you said he would, and he's everything you said he'd be. Kind, funny, a little clumsy in the kitchen. I laughed through my own tears. But he's trying, Lily continued. He's really trying, and I'm happy. For the first time in a long time, I'm truly happy. I wrapped my arm around her shoulders and pulled her close. And you were right, Emily, I said, about everything. Lily is incredible. She's strong, smart, talented, brave, everything good about both of us. I only regret not being here from the start. But I promise. My voice broke and I had to stop to steady myself. I promise I'll be here now. For every moment, every milestone, every challenge. I'll be the father she deserves. The father you always wanted me to be. The wind blew through the willow, making the leaves whisper. And for a moment, just a moment, I felt Emily there. Not physically, but present, wrapping us in love and approval. Lily turned and hugged me, burying her face in my chest. Her sobs were muffled but deep, years of pain and loneliness finally being released. I held her and let my own tears fall. We cried together there, on the cold grass, beside the woman we both loved, the woman who had given us to each other. I don't know how long we stayed. Minutes, maybe hours. Time didn't matter. Eventually, Lily's sobs quieted. She pulled away, wiping her face with her sleeves. I think she's happy, she said softly. I think she's at peace knowing we're together now. I think so too, I said, Lily folded the blue blanket carefully. Then, with tenderness, she placed it on Emily's headstone. It was hers, she explained. Well, mine, but she gave it to me. And now I want her to have it back, to know I don't need it the same way anymore. Because I finally have what she always wanted me to have. And what's that? Lily looked at me with those deep eyes, far too wise for her age. A family. I stood there looking at my daughter and felt something inside me fully heal. The cracks Emily's death left, the broken pieces I thought would never fit together again. Lily was gluing them back, not the way they were before, but in a new way, stronger. Shall we go home? I asked. Lily nodded. Let's go home. Dad. We walked back to the car hand in hand. The blue blanket fluttered gently in the breeze over Emily's headstone, like a flag of truce, of forgiveness, of love that transcends even death. And when I looked back one last time, I swear I saw a glimmer of light on the marble, like a smile of approval. Emily was finally at peace, and we were finally going home. The drive back to the orphanage that night was the hardest thing I've ever done. Lily sat quietly in the back seat, staring out the window as the city lights flickered by. Her reflection in the glass showed an expression that broke my heart. Resignation mixed with sadness. You don't have to take me back, she said suddenly, her voice so soft I almost didn't hear it. I glanced at her through the rearview mirror. Lily, I know I have to go back, I know the rules say so, but her voice trembled. But I don't want to. I want to stay. I want to wake up tomorrow in my bed with the star sheets. I want to have breakfast with you. I want to go home. It felt like someone was squeezing my heart with both hands. I want that too, I admitted, my own voice breaking. More than anything. But it's just a few more weeks, Lily. Just a few weeks until everything is official, legal, permanent, and then you'll never have to go back. You'll be home. Forever. But what if something goes wrong? What if someone changes their mind? What if... No one's going to change their mind, I interrupted firmly. I promise you, Lily. Nothing is going to stop this. Nothing. But even as I said the words, a small voice in the back of my head whispered, what if you're wrong? What if there are complications? What if the system decides you're not fit? I shook my head, pushing the thoughts away. No, I wasn't going to let fear win. Sister Mary was waiting by the door when we arrived. She must have seen the looks on our faces because she came over right away with open arms. How was the weekend? She asked gently. It was perfect, Lily said, but her voice was flat. We made a swing. We visited Emily. We ate pizza. That sounds wonderful. It was. Lily squeezed my hand tighter. But now it's over. Sister Mary knelt down in front of Lily. It's not over, dear. It's just the beginning. There will be many more weekends, and soon, very soon, you'll be there all the time. But what if... No what ifs, Sister Mary said firmly but kindly. Faith, remember, we have to have faith that everything will work out. Lily nodded, but I could see the doubt in her eyes. I walked in with her to get her things. The shared bedroom was empty. The other girls were probably already in the recreation room. Lily's bed was just as she'd left it, except now it looked smaller, sadder, like a temporary prison. I'll pick you up on Thursday, I said as she set her backpack on the bed. We can have dinner together, how does that sound? Can we do that during the week too? Sister Mary said I can visit every day if you want, so yes. Thursday night, and maybe Tuesday too, and, well, whenever you want to see me. A small smile appeared on her face. Every day? Every day you can stand me. She laughed, a small sound but genuine. I think I can handle you every day. I helped her unpack her few belongings. The toothbrush went back into the shared bathroom, clothes into the laundry basket. Then she pulled something out from the bottom of her backpack, the first edition of Anne of Green Gables I'd given her. I'm going to start reading tonight, she said, holding the book against her chest. "And every time I read it, I'll think of you, and Emily, and home. That makes me really happy." We stood there for a few more minutes, neither of us wanting the moment to end. Finally, Sister Mary appeared at the door. "Mr. Turner, I'm sorry, but it's almost the children's bedtime." I nodded. Time to go. I knelt in front of Lily one last time. "Thursday," I said. "I won't forget." "I know. And if you need me before then, Sister Mary has my number. You can call me anytime, day or night." "Okay. And Lily?" "Yes, I love you. I know it's early to say that, and I know we're still getting to know each other, but it's true. I love you." Her eyes filled with tears, but she was smiling. "I love you too, Dad." We hugged one last time, and then, with every ounce of willpower I had, I forced myself to stand up and walk away. I didn't look back. If I had, I wouldn't have been able to leave. The house was deathly silent when I got home. I turned on every light, trying to chase away the shadows and the feeling of emptiness. But it didn't help. Every room echoed with Lily's absence. The kitchen where we made pancakes together. The living room where we watched cartoons late into the night. The backyard where the new swing swayed gently in the wind, empty and waiting. I went upstairs to her room, the room that now truly felt like hers, and sat on the bed. The star sheet still smelled faintly of strawberry shampoo. Teddy, the giant bear, was propped against the pillows, standing guard. I grabbed my phone and called David. "Mr. Turner?" he answered on the second ring. "Is everything all right?" "David, I need you to speed up the adoption process. Do whatever it takes." "Sir, we're already doing everything we can. Legal proceedings take time, even with all the documentation we have." "Then find a way to make it go faster," I insisted. "Hire more lawyers, pay rush fees, whatever it takes. I don't care about the cost." There was a pause. "May I ask what happened?" I took a deep breath. "I left my daughter at an orphanage tonight, David. I left her there even though there's a perfectly good room waiting for her here. A house, a family, and the only thing stopping me from bringing her home right now is bureaucracy. So yes, I want to speed it up. I want this to be over." "I understand," David said softly. "I'll see what I can do. I'll call Judge Morrison first thing in the morning. I'll push for an earlier hearing." "Thank you." "And Mr. Turner?" "Yes?" "For what it's worth, I think you're going to be an incredible father." I hung up and let the phone drop into my lap. A father. It still felt unreal, but also right. Like something that had been missing all along and I didn't even know. The week crawled by, slow as cold molasses. Monday, I buried myself in work, trying to distract myself, but I couldn't focus. Meetings blurred by. Emails went unanswered. My mind was in a dorm room with an 11-year-old girl reading under a dim light. Tuesday, I couldn't take it anymore. I called Sister Mary. "Is she okay?" I asked as soon as she picked up. "She's fine, Mr. Turner," Sister Mary replied, and I could hear the smile in her voice. "A little quiet maybe, but fine. She's excited to see you Thursday." Can I come before that? Today?" "Of course, but Mr. Turner?" "Yes? Maybe bring something to do together. A puzzle, a board game, something to take the pressure off the visit. It helps." "Good idea." I spent the entire afternoon in a toy store, searching for the perfect gift. Finally, I found it. A dollhouse construction kit. Not just any house, but one you design and paint yourself. Something we could build together over several visits. I arrived at the orphanage at 5. The kids were finishing dinner. Sister Mary led me to the dining hall, a big room with long tables and mismatched chairs. And there she was, Lily, sitting between two younger kids, helping one of them cut her meat. When she saw me, her entire face lit up. "You came," she shouted, jumping from her chair and running to me. "But you said Thursday." "I couldn't wait," I admitted, hugging her. "I hope that's okay." It's more than okay. We spent the evening in the living room assembling the dollhouse kit and planning its layout. Lily had very specific ideas. She wanted a rooftop garden, a library on the second floor, and huge windows, so the light can come in. Do you know why? She asked while arranging the tiny pieces. Because dark places are sad, but light brings hope. I watched her small hands working, her tongue poking out in concentration, and thought, how did Emily create something so perfect and I never knew? What are you thinking about? Lily asked, catching me staring. Just thinking how lucky I am. Lucky to have you. She stopped what she was doing and looked up at me with those deep eyes. I think I'm the lucky one. I finally have a dad. A real dad. Not just... She hesitated. Not just a fantasy in my head. I'm not a fantasy, Lily. I'm real. And I'm going to be here. Always. Promise? Promise. Thursday, I kept my word and came back for dinner. This time I brought food. A huge bag of Thai takeout from a restaurant Emily used to love. Thai food, Lily said, sniffing the boxes with curiosity. I've never had it. Then you're about to have the best culinary experience of your life. Sister Mary allowed us to eat in her office, a special privilege. We spread out the boxes, and I taught Lily how to use chopsticks. She was surprisingly good, tried different dishes, pad thai was her favorite, and laughed when she accidentally ate something too spicy and had to drink 3 cups of water. Why does everything that tastes good have to burn? She complained, fanning her mouth. It's part of the adventure. I prefer adventures that don't set my tongue on fire. These moments, simple, ordinary, everyday, were everything. Not grand gestures, not expensive gifts. Just the two of us sharing a meal, laughing, getting to know each other. That was family. Friday morning, David called. Mr. Turner, I have news. My heart jumped. Good or bad? Good. Very good. I got a hearing with Judge Morrison for Monday. He reviewed all the documentation and was impressed with how complete everything is. He said if everything goes well at the hearing, he can sign temporary custody right away and permanent within 2 weeks. 2 weeks, not 6, not 4, 2. Are you serious? Completely. Judge Morrison is known for fast-tracking cases where it's clearly in the child's best interest. And after reviewing everything, the fact that you're the biological father, Emily's documents, your finances, Sister Mary's recommendations, he sees no reason to delay. I gripped the phone so tightly my knuckles turned white. David, you're a genius. He laughed. Just doing my job. But Mr. Turner, there's one condition. My stomach dropped. What condition? The judge wants to meet Lily, in person at the hearing. He wants to make sure she's comfortable with the arrangement, that she understands what's happening, that she truly wants this. She does. Of course she does. I know. And the judge will see that. But it's protocol. He needs to hear it from her. All right, Monday. What time? 10 a.m. County Courthouse. I'll meet you there. I hung up and immediately called Sister Mary. Monday, I said as soon as she picked up. We have a hearing. The judge might grant temporary custody that same day. I heard her sigh with relief on the other end. Thank God, oh thank God. I need to tell Lily. Can I come now? Of course, Mr. Turner. She'll want to hear it from you. 20 minutes later, I was parking in front of the orphanage. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. Lily was in the garden on the swing we'd built together. Apparently, Sister Mary had allowed her to bring it to the orphanage. She was gently swinging, reading her copy of Anne of Green Gables. Lily, I called. She looked up, and when she saw me, her face lit up. She marked the page, set the book on the swing, and ran to me. You're here again. This is becoming my favorite habit. I picked her up and spun her around, making her laugh. I have news, I said when I set her down. What kind of news? The kind that changes everything. Monday, we have a hearing with a judge, and if everything goes well, you're coming home. To stay. Lily froze. To stay? Like, really? Forever? Forever. For a moment, she just stared at me, as if she couldn't process the words. Then suddenly she screamed, a high-pitched cry of pure joy, and threw herself into my arms. "Really, you're not joking, it's not a dream." "Really? I'm not joking. It's not a dream." She buried her face in my chest, and I felt tears soak through my shirt. "I'm going to have a home," she whispered. "A real home. A real family." "You've always had a family, Lily. It just took us a while to find each other." She pulled back and looked at me with those shining, tear-filled eyes. "Emily knew, didn't she? She knew this would happen." "Yes, she knew. She always knew." Lily smiled. That smile I was learning to love more each day. "So Monday, what time?" 10 a.m. And Lily? "Yes? The judge is going to want to talk to you. He'll ask if you're sure about this, if you're comfortable with me, if you understand what it means." "And what do I say?" I knelt down so I was eye level with her. "You tell the truth. Whatever's in your heart. No filters. Don't try to say what you think he wants to hear. Just the truth from your heart." Lily put her hands on my shoulders. "The truth from my heart is that I love you. And I want to go home. With you. Forever." I pulled her into another hug, and for the first time in 3 years, I felt something I'd forgotten existed. Hope. Real hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe, good things could still happen. That broken families could be rebuilt. That lost love could be found again. In an 11-year-old girl with her father's eyes and her mother's heart. Monday dawned gray and cold. I woke up at 5 in the morning after a night of fragmented sleep, full of nightmares where I arrived at the courthouse and Lily wasn't there. Or worse, where the judge looked at me with cold eyes and said, "You're not fit. She stays in the orphanage." I shook my head, pushing the thoughts away. No, I wasn't going to let fear win. Not today. I showered and dressed carefully. Dark gray suit, navy blue tie, polished shoes. Professional but approachable, trustworthy. I needed to look like someone capable of being a father, someone a judge could trust with a child. By 8 a.m., I was in the car, driving to the orphanage. My hands were sweating on the steering wheel. My stomach was so tight that I couldn't eat breakfast. "Calm down, William. You've handled presentations in front of billionaire investors. Negotiations where millions were on the line. You can do this." But this was different. It wasn't millions at stake. It was Lily. It was everything. When I arrived at the orphanage, Sister Mary and Lily were already waiting by the door. Lily wore a dress I had never seen before. Dark blue with long sleeves and a white bow at the waist. Someone had carefully braided her hair. She held a small beige purse and looked nervous but determined. "You look beautiful," I said as I got out of the car. She twirled around. Sister Mary helped me pick it. She said I needed to look presentable for court. "You look perfect." Sister Mary stepped closer and placed her hands on my shoulders. "Breathe, Mr. Turner. Everything will be fine." "How can you be so sure?" "Because I've seen many custody hearings in my life, and I can recognize a real family when I see one." She smiled. "You two were made for each other. The judge will see it." I wanted to believe her. God, how I wanted to. "Thank you, Sister Mary, for everything, for taking care of her, for believing in this." "No need to thank me." She blinked away tears. "Just bring her to visit once in a while, all right? I'll miss this special girl." Lily ran to hug Sister Mary. "I'll visit every week, I promise." "I know you will, dear." Sister Mary kissed the top of Lily's head. "Now go, don't be late." The county courthouse was an imposing gray stone building with tall columns and wide steps leading to the entrance. People in formal clothes were coming and going, lawyers, clients, staff. Everyone seemed to know exactly where they were headed. I felt lost. "It's big," Lily said, looking up as we climbed the steps. "It is, but don't be afraid. It's just a building full of people trying to do the right thing." "What if they think the right thing is to keep me at the orphanage?" I stopped and knelt down in front of her, right there on the steps, ignoring the people passing by. "That won't happen. They'll see what I see, an incredible girl who deserves a family, and a father who would give anything to have her home. Anything? Anything. She took a deep breath. Okay, let's do this. Inside the building, David was waiting for us near the metal detectors. He wore a flawless suit and carried a thick leather briefcase. "Mr. Turner, Lily," he greeted, shaking my hand and smiling warmly at Lily. "Ready?" "As ready as we'll ever be," I replied. "The courtroom is on the 3rd floor. Judge Morrison is punctual, so we need to be there by 9:45. We passed through security and took the elevator. Lily was gripping my hand so tightly that it was cutting off my circulation. But I didn't complain. If holding my hand made her feel safer, she could squeeze as much as she needed. The 3rd floor was a long hallway with dark wooden doors on each side. Metal plaques identified each room. Courtroom 3A, Courtroom 3B. People were waiting on benches along the walls, some nervous, some bored, some clearly distressed. "There," David said, pointing to a door marked Courtroom 3C, Judge Harold Morrison. We sat on a bench outside. David opened his briefcase and began reviewing documents. "Okay, let's go over what's going to happen," he said in a low voice. "First, the judge will review all the submitted documentation, birth certificate, DNA tests, recommendation letters, background checks. Then he'll ask you questions, Mr. Turner, about your finances, your home, your plans for Lily. I'm ready for that. Then he'll talk to Lily. Alone." My stomach dropped. "Alone? It's standard protocol in custody cases. The judge wants to make sure the child feels free to speak without pressure. But don't worry." David looked at Lily. "He's kind, not intimidating. He'll just ask simple questions." Lily nodded, but I could see her hands trembling. "What kind of questions?" she asked. "Things like, do you want to live with Mr. Turner? Do you feel safe with him? Do you understand this is a permanent decision? And you just need to be honest. There are no right or wrong answers, just the truth. Can I tell him that I love him?" David blinked, surprised by her directness. "You can say exactly that." At 9:55, the courtroom door opened. A man in uniform, a bailiff, appeared. "Turner versus State," he called. We stood up. My legs were shaking. "Here," David said. "The judge will see you now." The courtroom was smaller than I expected. No jury, no public gallery. Just a large desk where the judge sat, 2 smaller tables facing him, and a few chairs on the side. Judge Harold Morrison was a man in his 60s, with graying hair, reading glasses hanging on a chain, and an expression that was serious but not unkind. He was reviewing papers when we entered. "Please sit," he said without looking up. We sat in the designated chairs, David at one table, Lily and I at the other. My heart was pounding so loudly I was sure everyone could hear it. The judge finally looked up and studied us over his glasses. "Mr. William Turner?" "Yes, Your Honor." "And you must be Lily." Lily nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, sir." The judge smiled, a small but genuine smile. "No need to call me sir. Judge Morrison is fine, or just Judge if you prefer." "Okay, Judge Morrison." He turned his attention back to the papers. "Well, interesting case we have here. Mr. Turner, I understand you recently discovered that Lily is your biological daughter?" "Yes, Your Honor, 3 weeks ago." "And before that, you had no knowledge of her existence?" "Correct. My late wife. She kept it secret for complicated reasons, but she left letters explaining everything after her death. I've read those letters." The judge picked up a few sheets. "Quite emotional. Your wife clearly carried a tremendous amount of guilt." "She did. But she also loved Lily deeply, and she wanted to make things right. And you, Mr. Turner, what do you want?" The question caught me off guard. "I want to be my daughter's father. I want her to have the home, the family, the love she's always deserved." "Noble." The judge made a note. "But be specific. How many hours do you work per week?" "Usually between 50 and 60. "That's a lot of time. Who will take care of Lily while you're working?" I swallowed. I knew this question was coming. I'm restructuring my schedule, delegating more responsibilities. My plan is to reduce my hours to no more than 40 per week and work from home whenever possible. Can you afford to do that, financially? Yes, Your Honor. My finances are in the documents. I have more than enough to provide for Lily and myself, even working less. The judge nodded, satisfied. And school? Where will Lily study? Riverside Elementary is excellent and only 3 kilometers from my house. I've already contacted them. Lily can start as soon as she's officially living with me. Extracurricular activities, socialization. A child who has lived in an institutional environment all her life may struggle adjusting to a home with just one adult. We'll figure it out together. Lily loves art, so I'm looking into classes, and there's a community center nearby with programs for kids. But most importantly, I looked at Lily. I'll be present, truly present, not just physically, but emotionally. The judge studied my face for a long moment. Mr. Turner, you understand that raising a child, especially one who's experienced abandonment trauma, is nothing like running a business? There are no spreadsheets, no strategy meetings. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and often frustrating. I understand, Your Honor, and I'm prepared for that, or rather, I smiled slightly. I'm unprepared but willing to learn. For a moment, I thought I saw a flicker of approval in the judge's eyes. Honesty. I like that. He turned to Lily. Now, young lady, I need to ask you a few questions. Alone, if you don't mind. Fear flashed across Lily's face. Alone? It's just to make sure you can speak freely. Mr. Turner and his lawyer will wait outside. It won't take long. 10, 15 minutes at most. Lily looked at me, panic in her eyes. I leaned closer and whispered, "You can do this, just be yourself, tell the truth, I'll be right outside waiting, I promise." She took a deep breath and nodded. Okay. David and I left the room. The door clicked shut behind us. And then, the waiting. Those were the longest 15 minutes of my life. I paced the hallway while David tried to calm me. She'll do fine, Mr. Turner. What if she gets too nervous? What if she can't express what she feels? Lily is smart, mature for her age. The judge will see that. But what if? No what ifs. David put a hand on my shoulder. You've done everything right. All the documentation is perfect. Your intentions are clear. And more importantly, the bond between you and Lily is obvious. Anyone can see that you care for each other. I wanted to believe him, but the fear was paralyzing. What was happening in there? What was the judge asking? How was Lily answering? 10 minutes passed, then 15, then 20. It's taking too long, I muttered. Or the judge is being thorough, which is good. Finally, more after what felt like hours but was probably 25 minutes, the door opened. The bailiff appeared. The judge is ready for you. We re-entered the courtroom. Lily was sitting in the same chair, but her eyes were red. She had cried. My heart broke. Judge Morrison was writing something. He finished, set his pen down, and looked at us. Please sit. We sat. I waited, barely breathing. The judge leaned back in his chair and removed his glasses, carefully cleaning them with a cloth. Mr. Turner, he finally said, I had a very enlightening conversation with Lily. My stomach turned. She's a remarkable young lady, articulate, thoughtful, and extraordinarily mature for her age. She is, I agreed, my voice hoarse. She also told me some things, about how she felt at the orphanage, about her relationship with your late wife, and about you. I waited, unable to speak. The judge put his glasses back on and looked straight at me. She told me, and I quote, "He's my dad. Not just because the DNA says so, but because he chooses to be. He doesn't have to want me, but he does. And that makes all the difference." Tears burned my eyes. I looked at Lily. She smiled at me, small and shy, but full of love. The judge picked up a document. Based on everything I've reviewed, the documentation, the recommendations, the financial situation, and most importantly, the clear desire of both Mr. Turner and Lily to form a family unit, I am prepared to grant immediate temporary custody. My heart stopped. Immediate? I whispered. Immediate. Lily can go home with you today. Permanent custody will be finalized after a 2-week supervision period, during which a social worker will conduct home visits. Assuming all goes well, Mara and I see no reason it won't. Permanent custody will be granted on November 16th. I couldn't process the words. Was this real? Was it really happening? Your Honor, that means... It means, Mr. Turner, that your daughter is going home. Today. Now. Lily let out a scream, a high-pitched sound of pure joy, and jumped from her chair, running toward me. I lifted her and spun her around, both of us laughing and crying at the same time. We did it, she whispered against my neck. We did it, Dad. I'm going home. You're going home, I repeated, barely believing it. You're going home, baby girl. Judge Morrison tapped his gavel lightly. Congratulations to you both. And Mr. Turner? I looked at him, still holding Lily. Yes, Your Honor. Don't mess this up. That girl trusts you. She deserves you. Live up to it. I will, I promised. Every day. For the rest of my life. The drive back to the orphanage to pick up Lily's things was surreal. She didn't stop talking, her words pouring out like a waterfall. Can I take everything today? My clothes, my books, my drawings? And what about the swing? Can we take it too? And Teddy, I can't forget Teddy. I laughed, feeling lighter than I had in years. We can take everything, every last bit. When we arrived, Sister Mary was waiting by the door. David had called her on the way. She was crying. Congratulations, she said, pulling Lily into a tight hug. Oh, my sweet girl, congratulations. I'm going home, Sister Mary. Today. Now. I know, dear, I know. Sister Mary looked at me over Lily's head, tears running down her wrinkled face, and silently mouthed, Thank you. I nodded. No words were needed. We went upstairs to pack Lily's belongings. She rushed around the room like a whirlwind, grabbing clothes, books, drawings, every little treasure. The other girls who shared the room came to say goodbye. There were hugs, tears, promises to visit. Will you remember us? Asked a little freckled girl. Lily knelt in front of her. Always. And I'll come back to visit. Every week, I promise. It took 3 trips to load everything into the car. In the end, the back seat was full of bags, boxes, and Teddy the bear supervising it all. One last stop, the garden. The swing we had built together swayed gently in the wind. Lily ran to it and touched the ropes. It can stay, she said, for the other kids, so they'll have something special too. Are you sure? I have one at home now. This one can be for whoever stays. We walked to the gate. Sister Mary, several other nuns and children had gathered to say goodbye. Lily hugged each one of them. She promised to visit. She promised to write. She promised never to forget. And then finally, with my hand in hers, we crossed the gate. The gate that had creaked when I first arrived 3 weeks ago. But this time I wasn't entering. I was leaving. With my daughter. Going home. The house had never felt so alive. Lily ran from room to room the moment we stepped inside, as if she needed to make sure everything was still there. That it wasn't a dream. That it was real. My room is still here, she shouted from upstairs. The star sheets, the desk, everything. I followed her up, carrying 2 bags of her belongings. I found her standing in the middle of the room, slowly spinning with her arms open, a huge smile lighting up her face. It's mine, she whispered, as if testing the words. For real. Forever. Forever, I confirmed, setting the bags down. And you know what that means? What? It means we can decorate however you want. Paint the walls any color, put up posters, shelves, whatever you can imagine. This is your space, your sanctuary. Her eyes sparkled. Any color? Any color. Even purple? Even purple. Or rainbow if you want. She laughed and threw herself onto the bed, sinking into the pillows. This is so comfortable. Way better than the bed at the orphanage. Good. Because you'll spend many nights here reading, drawing, dreaming. Lily sat up, hugging a pillow against her chest. You know what's the strangest thing? What? The silence. At the orphanage, there was always noise. Kids crying, laughing, running. Someone was always awake. But here, she paused, listening. It's so quiet. Too quiet. She thought for a moment. No, it's peaceful, like I can finally breathe. I sat down beside her on the bed. If it ever gets too quiet, too lonely, you tell me. We can find activities, invite friends over, whatever you need. School, Lily repeated, and I saw a flicker of nervousness in her eyes. When do I start? Wednesday. That gives you 2 days to settle in, rest, explore the neighborhood, no pressure. What if the other kids don't like me? What if they think it's weird that I came from an orphanage? I took her hand. Then they don't deserve to be your friends. Lily, you're amazing, smart, talented, kind. The right kids will see that, and those are the ones that matter. She squeezed my hand. You always know what to say. Not always, but I try. The rest of the day passed in a joyful blur. We unpacked all of Lily's things, arranged her clothes in the closet, which suddenly didn't look so empty anymore. We lined her books on the shelves. We taped her drawings to the walls, creating an impromptu gallery of vibrant watercolors and detailed sketches. Lily insisted on placing the drawing she made 2 years ago, the one with 3 people holding hands in front of a house, in a special spot. We framed it and set it on her desk, where she could see it every time she studied. It's my reminder, she explained, that dreams come true, if you wait long enough, if you believe hard enough. In the afternoon, we went shopping. Lily needed school supplies, so we visited the biggest stationery store in town. I let her pick everything. Notebooks. She chose 5, all with different covers. Colored pencils. A 72-color set that made her gasp. A turquoise backpack with silver stars, and even a cat-shaped pencil case. Can I really have all this? She asked, staring at the overflowing cart. Lily, you can have whatever you need within reason, and school supplies are definitely within reason. But this must cost. Don't worry about money. Seriously, that's my job, not yours. Your only job is to be a kid. She seemed to struggle with that idea. Not having to worry, having someone to take care of her now. It's hard, she admitted in the car on the way home. Not to worry. I've spent so long taking care of myself, being responsible. I don't know how to let someone take care of me. Then we'll learn together. You'll learn to let someone care for you, and I'll learn to be that person. We're both figuring this out. She smiled. We're a good team, aren't we? The best team. Dinner was an adventure. I decided to cook. Really cook, not just order in. Lily offered to help, and together we tried to make lasagna. Emily used to make it, and I still had her handwritten recipe. It was chaotic. Flour everywhere. Tomato sauce splattering on the stove. Lily laughing when I dropped a chunk of cheese on the floor and picked it up. The 5-second rule doesn't count when you're 11 and supposed to set a good example, she teased. You're absolutely right, I admitted, tossing the cheese in the trash. Good example starts now. The lasagna turned out okay. Not award-winning, but edible. More importantly, we made it together. We ate at the kitchen table, not the formal dining room. Candles lit, Lily's idea. Napkins folded, also Lily's idea. Talking about everything and nothing. And so their bond deepens. Through school, challenges, joy, adoption hearings, parties, and everyday life. Through seasons passing, through new friendships, through growth on both sides. And eventually, on Lily's 12th birthday, in front of friends, family, and Sister Mary, I made a promise. To be there for every birthday from now on. Every graduation, every success, every heartbreak, every joy. To never let you doubt that you are loved, that you belong, that you have a home, because you do. Always. With me. Tears streamed down Lily's face as she whispered, I love you, Dad. I love you more, baby girl. Applause filled the garden. The sun shone bright. And in that moment, surrounded by love, I knew Emily had been right all along. Lily was our second chance, our redemption. Proof that love never dies. It only transforms. Sometimes, if you're lucky, love finds its way back to you in ways you could never imagine. In a brave, brown-eyed girl. In a family built not by blood, but by choice. In a future filled with hope. And as I looked up at the sky that afternoon, I swear I saw a ray of sunlight shining extra bright, as if Emily were smiling, approving, whispering, "Well done, my loves. Well done." And so our story ends, a story of loss and discovery, of pain and healing, of how love transcends even death. Leave a comment with the city and state where you're watching this incredible story. I want to know how far our stories are reaching. And if this story touched you, if it made you believe in second chances and miracles and families built by love, share it. Because no matter how dark the road may seem, there's always hope. There's always light. There's always love waiting to be found. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until the next story, until the next miracle, God bless.